Hockey Happy Hour right here on A2DRadio.com, live from our humble abodes, our separate, respective humble abodes. And we are here to give you all the hockey love and the hockey analysis and the hockey everything this year because, unfortunately, everything's on pause right now. And we need something to do because we're all stuck in the house right now. But anyway, and we also want to give you guys something to do. So feel free to comment in and everything like that. We are the Hockey Happy Hour here on A2DRadio.com, brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. Our doctor, Paul Vidal, he takes care of all of the needs that you have. If you got any aches and pains or what have you, hey man, just go to him. He'll take care of you. And you can find him in Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton, New Jersey. And you can find him on the web at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com. All right, well, I am Matt Sassuti, and right over here is the Dark Wing, Brian Daly.
What up?
Meanwhile, right over here is the Broken One, Rob Povia.
I am magic. How are you guys doing, by the way? Are you guys holding up good?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. How about you, Bri?
The best I can. Best I can.
Seem having a little bit of trouble with directions like I was there a few moments ago.
Yeah, it's all mirrored. I don't know which way is this way.
This is down, right? This is up. I don't know.
Mirror.
Anyway,
that's up. That's down.
All right. So today on the show, we are going to be going into the NHL Awards. Now, obviously, we know that the NHL Awards have not happened, but since they did get postponed, along with several other things that got postponed as well.
Not even postponed, just straight up canceled.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, Brian is confused.
What else
okay.
is new?
But anyway, because of that, we are going to give our own awards out. We are going to give our NHL awards to whom we believe would have been given those said trophies and awards for a year, their regular season and postseason performances. And with that, gentlemen, are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
You are? All right, then. Cool. So we'll dive into the NHL awards. Then we'll do any updates that are going on around the NHL. And, of course, we're going to be doing what are you guys doing? What are you guys out there doing with your time being shacked up in your quarantined house, waiting to see whenever the hell this shit's going to end? Feel free to let us know what you're doing to pass the time because you have to get kind of creative. Luckily, we have all these wonderful streaming platforms and, video games and movies and stuff like that. Thank God. Imagine if you were quarantined back in 1919 when they didn't award the cup. Wasn't much to do but read near the freaking fireplace. But anyway.
I got a fireplace.
Nice. That yeah. and also
I don't read by it.
But speaking of that, yeah, the other thing you could have done in 1919 was get syphilis. But anyway, so what? That was a pastime back then.
I don't want that.
I used to get that shit all the time, gals too. That was the thing that was the in thing to do back in 1919 was get syphilis. But anyway,
ask Elk.
No, I'm good.
Oh, all right. So with that, we'll do that and the penalty box, of course, towards the end of the show. But first, NHL awards. And, what trophy should we get started off with? Any special ones you guys want to start off with?
Well, let's save the Hart for last, because that's the big one. That's the big guy.
Yeah. We'll save the league MVP last. Okay.
Let's start with Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the
Calder trophy. Yeah.
Nice place to start.
That's ironic because that's actually the first trophy I have listed. But anyway.
Same page.
Mine's all mixed up.
I gotcha. So the Calder Memorial Trophy, the Rookie of the Year. I'll give mine first, and I went with Quentin Hughes of the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, that's kind of where I went. Kids have been just ridiculous, cooling off a little bit, but dishing helpers left and right. 45 assists on the year. Minus 10 leads all rookies in points, I believe, from what I saw. Plus and minus could be a little bit more up, but he's had a pretty good rookie year, and he's even been better than his brother Jack and Kako, who's both I think have been very underwhelming for rookies this year. So Quinn Hughes was for me easy.
All right then, Rob, you got anybody?
Oh yeah, man. I'll go a different direction. I'm gonna go with Kale Mocker from the Colorado Avalanche. You know, he's second in points amongst rookies with 50 as a defenseman. That's pretty
Nice.
You know, and just watching him play a couple games against the Flyers, you know, the kid's a smooth skater. He's defensively responsible, as evident by having a +12, which is seventh amongst rookies. He's just been a great asset for the Colorado Avalanche and their run for the playoffs. One thing, speaking of plus minus, though, I'm going to throw out an honorable mention. And there's some other names that are probably ahead of him. Here's my homer pick for honorable mention, though. But is it, though? Philip Myers, he's a +17, whereas Kyle Mocker is a +12. And Myers' mark is tied for second amongst rookies. So, you know, obviously having a sneaky season. Us Flyers fans are very familiar with what Myers has been doing on the ice, but not, you know, maybe not nationally known.
Well, my only question to that, and I agree with you, Rob. He's been really good for the Colorado Avalanche. Has been a big part of why they've had so much success this season. But as far as Philip Myers goes, how many games has he actually played this year? Would he even be qualified for the Calder this year as a rookie?
I think he has. I know he didn't start up with them, but he was mostly healthy minus that kneecap injury. And I think maybe scratched here and there. He had to figure with the 7 defensemen when they were all healthy. But it's a good question. It's a good point. I'll look up how many games he's played, and we'll see what would be the mark to qualify.
Sounds great.
All right then. All right, so next up, how do you guys feel about the best defenseman, the James Norris?
You can do that.
All right then, so the James Norris Trophy up next. I rolled with John Carlson of the Washington Capitals.
Ditto.
That's an interesting one. I'm going in a complete other direction. I'm sticking with Rob's theme. Wait, you're that way. Rob's theme of the Colorado Avalanche. I'm going with Ryan Graves. Young player. He's played 69 games this year, 6 goals, 17 assists. He hasn't been there as far as points goes, but he's been a very responsible defenseman. Plus 40. I believe he leads all defensemen in plus minus. So we know he's responsible with the puck, and we know that he's on the ice majority for points, and he's not giving much when he's up there. So for me, it's Ryan Graves.
All right then, nice. All right, so next up, we will.
Well, let me throw mine out, Maddie.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not that important, you know, because I actually agree with you with John Carlson. He's had a rock solid season. He's, you know, we went with the favorite, but I like what Brian did with that because, you know, Graves has had a great season and, you know, often maybe accompanying Mocker and having a young tandem there in Colorado. So it's a really good pick, Brian. But I'll go with the favorite here because I have some other. Especially in Hart. So
I got the rest of these. I believe are going to be favorites. What's up, Eileen?
Hey, Eileen, how's it going? You got Greg saying Maddie needs some lights. Yeah,
in the dark.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Eileen said I miss hockey. Yeah.
Oh, wait, Eileen, if you really miss hockey right now, NBCSN I believe is showing the 2018 Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah.
Ooh.
How great was it the other night where they played the Game 7 of the Bruins Flyers series where they came back, you know, the famous Game 7. That was just so great watching Danny B back in the orange and black. And obviously Simone Gagne that I knew him from when he came up with the Flyers. A friend of mine from high school actually housed him and Donna Subras when they were young up-and-comers up in the AHL. So really down-to-earth kids, and it was great seeing him in his old days contributing towards the Flyers.
Nice.
Yeah, they're actually airing on the other NBC network. They're airing the Bruins Flyers from earlier this year from January. I believe it's the one where Brad Marchand whiffed on the penalty shot.
Oh God, oh my God, I cried laughing when I saw that happen too. Yeah. And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy in Brad Marchand.
Absolutely.
Going back to that point with Myers, Brian, he's actually played 50 games. So I would assume he would qualify, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He would.
All right. So, Greg saying, I hashtag agree with the poll. Let's go. And that is, would Elaine Vigneault win the Jack Adams Award? Agree or disagree?
We'll find
And
out.
and and on top of that too, Jake Friel saying, "What up, boys? I strongly agree with the poll." Andy saying, "What's up, puckheads?" Hey,
Andy.
I'll see you on Saturday. And Eileen said, "Is the hockey season completely canceled?" They haven't said anything about it, but they did say that the awards aren't happening right now. The scouting combine is not. The draft is not.
Well,
So
I think what's going to happen with that is they're pushing it back. They're not. I mean, yes, it's canceled, but at the same time, I think they're going to push it back because I think they're absolutely going to try and finish out and at least get the playoffs in.
yeah. And Trevor Harris saying, "What up? What's up,
What up, Trevor?"
And he says, if we can have any enforcer beat the fuck out of a person who created the coronavirus, who would you choose?
Easy.
I'm going with Donald
Brashear.
Brashear. Yeah. Brashear was an animal.
No, I can come up with one better.
Domi.
George LaRock.
George Laraque. Okay, that's not a bad choice.
Go back
George
even further to Bobby Probert.
Oh, yeah.
And we forgot Dave Schultz. Duh, the Hammer. I mean, come on now. He was the baddest animal in the hockey jungle in the 70s. But
no doubt about it. And I love him, but man, Probert was a beast too, though, man.
Was.
Just to be fair, but Schulte's our boy,
Then also Nick Kiprios, who was a son of a bitch when he played. I mean, there's a lot of good names you could come up with when it comes to those fighters. But
Nick Kiprios is an all right analyst. I don't know if you've ever heard him. He's not bad.
I have. What network does he do?
I think he's on Sportsnet in Canada.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he actually is a very good analyst. For a guy who was known for fighting, great analyst, And
Yeah, he's not bad.
No, not at all. Frank Vespi saying, "Hey, yo, sorry to bother you. Hashtag banana heads in the middle of quarantine." To answer the poll, I agree. He really turned the Fly Guys around. So why don't we dive into that? Jack Adams Trophy goes to the best coach, and I did put Elaine Vigneault here. Hence why I put the poll up. Because, I mean, look at it this way. Look at the way the Flyers played last year, and look at the way they're playing this year. I mean, it is a night and day difference. I mean, yeah, they played a lot better in the second half of last year, but still, though, compared to the way they've been playing for the most part, it's like night and day difference. This was the first time the team looked threatening since, oh, God.
At least 2010.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since they looked as threatening as they did this season.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, Elaine Vigneault has been a huge reason to why this team has been as successful as it is. But I didn't go with Elaine Vigneault for my Jack Adams.
Who'd you go?
I went with David Quinn of the New York Rangers.
That's not bad.
Well, think about how the Rangers started this year. They were bottom of the barrel. Nobody expected much out of them. They started out real slow, and then just out of nowhere, everything just started to click with this Rangers team. And they started going on winning streaks, and they got really, really hot. And, yeah, sold off a couple pieces at the trade deadline, but, they seemed to have helped them even more to the point where the Rangers, at the point of the season being suspended, was 3 points out of a wild card spot after being at the bottom of the barrel.
That's true.
So
they were killing it.
Yeah, they absolutely were. And to see where they were when played suspended, it makes me curious at how they would have finished had there not been a suspension in play. Could have David Quinn gotten them into the playoffs?
I think they would have, honestly. I think they would have outlasted a couple of those teams because a couple of them were skidding there. Like the Hurricanes were starting to skid a little bit. The Islanders were not doing that well. Those were a couple of teams right there the Rangers could have taken the place of.
Yeah, absolutely. And Columbus, that's kind of like my whole point. Like they started out like god awful slow, and now they're sitting 5.
Yeah.
So, that's a huge turnaround.
That is impressive. I have to give that acknowledgement.
In a short span as well.
Where's your exotic dancer, says Eileen.
Over there in the living room.
They are unfortunately, we did hire them, but the problem was they're in quarantine just like the rest of us, so we can't actually have them physically around us at this time.
She stole my money.
We have to practice the social distancing thing.
Yes, Frank, I am wearing a Toledo Mud Hens hat. missing baseball today, obviously, and part of my binge on Netflix was watching this documentary that I watched when it came out, but I haven't been for a while. The Battered Bastards of Baseball. It's awesome. It's about the Portland Mavericks in the Pacific Coast League that were like the last independent league in the minor leagues. It's a great documentary if you're a baseball fan. Just check it out.
I'm definitely going to check that out.
Mm-hmm. The owner was actually Kurt Russell's dad.
Huh.
Oh, get it out.
Russell. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
That's cool. That's
Yep.
cool. There's a little fast fact for anyone out there who was wondering. And we got Thomas Arnone, none other than chanting in "Love the Shirt Pope," and we also got the same one over there on Bry, the A2D
I got
gear.
a hoodie. Where's my love? Where's my love?
Yeah, he skipped you. Anyway, because
What else? What else is new?
But you can purchase those fine items as well. Where can they purchase them, Bry?
Oh, PhillyDrinkers.com. We got all kinds of new stuff coming out. A limited edition T-shirt, and we got all kinds of cool new T-shirts coming out for the spring, and all the Philadelphia sports writing saying A2D Radio across the chest.
Saw them. They're gorgeous.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's up, Matt Spills?
Hey, Matt Spills saying, "What's up, guys? What's up, man?" Frank Vespi saying, "I take my 3 favorites: Rob Ray, Chris Nealon, Tony Twist." I forgot about Tony Twist.
All good names. All good names.
And it will all start with a Todd Bertuzzi cheap shot. Have the 3 beat them all up on the ice, and at the end have Gritty do Gritty things.
No, he had to go there.
No, Gritty will teabag
go there.
Gritty will teabag him when it's all said and done. Gritty looks like the kind of mascot that'll teabag you. Anyway, Matt Spills. I'll take it one step further. AV wins and the Flyers get to the Eastern Conference Final at the very least. # we were hot. And you're not wrong. And honestly, that's where I truly believe the Flyers were going to end up finishing, was in the Eastern Conference Finals. And he said, what were we going to say, Brian?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Spills also then said, "I don't feel like we started well either. I thought it was bad. What the Flyers have done these last few months has opened the whole league's eyes. They are even getting the respect from Vegas, and I'd give the edge to AV at this point."
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you, Maddie, the whole way. To the Eastern Conference Finals comment, that I think that was going to be almost a sure thing, especially with the way they were playing against the Capitals this year and the Penguins, even Boston. Like, they've been playing Boston real well all season long. It's a shame they lost to them in February, or was it early March? I don't remember.
No,
but the last time they played Boston, they played them really well again. Couldn't beat Tuukka in that game. And, AV's been a huge reason why the Flyers have had the success that they've had this year. He's rolling 4 lines. You're getting scoring from all 4 lines. Deep pairings are playing solid in front of Carter Hart. And I know Carter had a rough start to the season, but he's really settled in. And he's really positioning himself well, giving himself opportunities to make saves. And he's swallowing up pucks and not giving up a lot of bad rebounds.
That was the one thing that he used to do a lot, and that was a big problem when he would let out the juicy rebounds, and a team would take advantage of it. Also, on top of it, too, give a lot of credit, too, he helped the team get that adjustment when they were terrible on the road, and they were starting to play a lot better on the road after that, and it was
that's not gonna work like I thought.
Talking about. And what was going on there?
Brian's playing with his camera.
No, I was trying to show the Capitals game that's on NBC.
You saw it?
It didn't work out the way.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but could you make it out? Mm-hmm. I couldn't.
A little bit. I saw a white screen with some figures going around.
A little white square. That's all I saw.
All right, so that's the Jack Adams.
No, you keep on forgetting about me, Maddie. What the fuck?
That is my bad. That's my bad. That's my bad. All right,
keep a pen and paper. Cross it off one at a time. No. There'll be some awards that I might have not had to pick. So
wait. I got a great idea for you, Rob. 3 checks. Put a check for every person that says it, and if there's 2, we got to figure out who the hell hasn't given their award yet.
Right.
I think that works.
Right. Absolutely. I'll give real quick. The Homer side of me, and when I answered the poll, is AV, and he could certainly be up for. The Flyers were a 500 team last year, and look at what they are now, tops in the leagues. But I too, like Brian, played a little devil's advocate here, and I went for Dave Tippett out in Edmonton, West Coast. The Edmonton were also further down in the standings last year, under 500 team, and now are right in the thick of things in the Western Conference playoff picture. If when it should happen, so I think he'll be one of the top three. Maybe AB ultimately wins it. Tippett could be a dark horse there.
No, dude, that's a great choice,
that
especially
is
where Edmonton was last year.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a great choice. And I mean, think about it this way: the playoffs starting up. If things had gone, smoothly, and they had gotten into the playoffs by now, Edmonton, really the only team I saw stopping them was Vegas. That was it. That's the only team I ever saw stopping them. And the only reason I say that is because they would have to face them in the semifinals. And it could have gone the other way. Edmonton could have upset Vegas and gone to the Western Conference Finals. I mean, who knows what would have happened there, but they could have easily gotten to the third round in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Edmonton's been a real good team this year. They've been playing okay defense in front of who is it, Mike Smith now?
Yep, Mike Smith.
So, obviously they're still being carried a lot by Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, but it is what it is. They're winning hockey games, and that's the important part.
Yeah, to be fair though, I mean, if you're gonna, hang your hat on anyone, you couldn't get any better two in the game.
Absolutely
honestly.
Not. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Matty.
All right, so on from the Jack Adams, let's go Ted Lindsay. This is NHL Players MVP. Who do you think the players would have given the MVP to? My pick would have been Ovechkin, just because of him breaking a record and hitting a milestone achievement and still being a scoring machine at his age. I think the players would have given it to him.
Actually, I didn't wind up doing this trophy.
Okay.
But I'll give you one. I was going to go David Pastrnak. With the season that he's been having this year, just absolutely destroying teams. And he's had 4 hat tricks this year, 48 goals, 45 assists.
Yeah,
tied with
Ovi.
Hell of a season, tied with Ovi for the league leading goals. Yeah, I believe he's third in points as well in the league. So yeah, he's had a monster season. I think he could have been a guy on there.
Okay, then Rob, how about you?
I'm sorry, I was messaging somebody back. Who we talking, or what award we talking?
Ted Lindsay, which is what MVP would the players have picked?
I'm gonna go. We'll put a little thumbtack in Mr. Pastrnak.
Okay.
And I'll go with Leon Draisaitl out in Edmonton.
Okay.
I mean, I know I hate to double dip with Edmonton, but he's real popular with the boys, and I think he's number one in points on the season, which doesn't automatically equate to the Hart Trophy. Often it does, more often than not. But yeah, I think potential double dipper here, or at the very least, very affluent with the boys in the locker room. So I'll go with Leon Draisaitl.
And if you're going to double dip, at least make sure it's Tostitos that you're double dipping with.
I'm sorry I got distracted in the middle of myself talking there. I just got a news update. Daniel Bryan entering quarantine.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate that is. It's just a little John Cena.
What? Did you say Daniel Bryan? What?
Yeah. It might be clickbait. I don't know. It's just a notification.
I'll confirm. I'll get back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Cena. All right. So we got John Cena on that case right now, folks. We'll get that solved in a moment. All right.
I didn't know John Cena was a hockey fan.
Yeah, and who knew that he was producing our show tonight? I sure as hell didn't.
You can't see me.
To you, my friend.
All right. So Rob rolling with Leon Draisaitl. I rolled with Ovechkin, and Brian rolled with pasta. So
I love rolling pasta.
Have you seen his commercials for the Dunkin' Donuts?
He's hysterical.
They are
his commercials.
Oh my god, they're hilarious, man. He must be a personality in the locker room. Like seriously.
Oh, he has to be. He has to be.
All right then. So let's see here. Next up, let's go with Frank J. Selke, which is best defensive forward. For me,
this one might be unanimous.
I went with Ryan O'Reilly, St. Louis.
Maybe not.
All right, go ahead.
I went with Sean Couturier.
Go. What? Coots is not a bad choice either.
Yeah, I mean, for a number of reasons. I mean, he's got 59 points on the season. He's a plus 21 in his plus minus. And he leads the league in face-off percentage at 59.6. Obviously, he's a shutdown center. He shuts everybody down. He makes it very hard for players to play against him. They get set up in the defensive zone. And, you know, honestly, I think Couturier is one of the top 3 two-way players in all of hockey.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's hard to argue against Sean. The only reason I didn't go with Coots is because I do have a couple of other choices for Philly, so I didn't want to go too far into the homer side of things, and I pulled it back just a little bit there. Rob, what about you? What
good.
you got?
To play devil's advocate again, because Coots is a great name. Obviously, he's the definition of the award. But I'll go with another predominant definition of the award, and that's Patrice Bergeron in Boston. You know, definitely a solid defensive forward, always a Selke finalist. We'll talk into this same discussion when we talk Selke, but for now, I'll go with Bergeron here.
Matt, have a good night, brother. Hope you stay safe too.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Matt saying I've got.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We want to wish you all doing well right now, and join us to let off some steam and get your mind off things. That's what we're here for.
Well, break from reality is what we are.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. And again, the Spills comment was, I've gotten to watch plenty of hockey fights and MMA fights with this whole virus thing happening, and more time to tune in for these A2D shows. Be safe there, guys. Great show. Got to get the kids to bed, finally. Well, hopefully they have some sweet dreams, and hopefully you get some peace and quiet, right? Anyway, man, you take care. You have a good evening. All right. Next up, we go.
Hold up. Before we move on,
Sure.
is the Maurice Richard trophy still a thing?
The Maurice Richard Trophy.
Yeah.
The most goals.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe it is.
Okay, good, because I did that.
Yeah. That one. Yeah, that one goes to whoever has the most goals at the end of the year. Which
I thought it was total points. Whoops.
it was one of the two. It's either total points or most goals. It's one of the two. And that one goes to Leon Draisaitl because of the fact that if the season was to end today, Draisaitl leads the categories, so he gets it automatically.
Well, he's leading by a lot.
Yeah. Hey, man, Draisaitl's
13 points. Woof.
My man Damian Price
Over his
from
teammate.
my brother down under saying, "Hey guys, have a top show."
Hey, man,
Damian,
thanks.
hope you're staying safe,
Gotcha.
brother.
Yeah,
You
definitely down in Australia. I just heard their A-League got postponed, so must be sweeping through there.
Yeah.
Soccer.
Yeah, stay safe, brother. Stay healthy.
Proto messaged me and he said WWE's Daniel Bryan will quarantine after WrestleMania due to COVID-19 risk.
And also an update too. A lot of stuff's happening over the last 2 minutes. All the golf fans, U.S. Open has been postponed.
Okay.
Oh man.
So I'll keep you guys updated if anything else crazy happens. There's a ton of stuff that's coming out now with all this virus, so I'll keep you updated.
The trend for Thursday continues, even in quarantine. All the news breaks today, and none of it relates to wrestling or hockey.
Usually doesn't.
Correction, Daniel Bryan does relate to wrestling, though.
Yeah, right.
So he's going to wait till after WrestleMania?
Yeah. But
that might not end well. Might not
maybe.
end well for the WWE.
Maybe they'll have him take a bump early and send him back to the training room where he could be isolated.
Maybe.
He's in a tag team event with Drew Gulak. Is that correct? I stopped paying attention to WWE, AEW all the way.
Drew, I think it might have been something like that because the Gulak and him had a match at Elimination Chamber. It was a very good match, actually.
It was, yeah.
Let's see, Damien saying all our sports are out here, but nearly everyone is working still. Huh.
Well, that's good. At least everybody's still working.
Yeah, at least you're getting a paycheck, yeah. Tom says, now we need to pray we even get baseball. Yeah, at this
I think
point.
we're getting baseball. We're getting baseball back. It's just, today was just opening day. I think we'll have baseball back by June. That's just me. It's just a gut feeling. I think with everything going on and everybody, for the most part, doing everything they're basically being told, I think when things calm down, we'll have baseball back by June.
Yeah, early mid-June. I think so too. There's always going to be in the opposite, the storm before the calm when it comes to an illness and what have you. But once you come out with medication that can treat the masses, like they've been testing malaria drugs, have been doing some wonders with certain patients. If that is universal developments from there, then all of a sudden you could at least treat it, and then from there a vaccine. So let's keep the positive thoughts. I'm with you, Brian.
Positive vibes. Let's go.
Yep.
All right, back to the awards, and
Yes.
So we were on Maurice Rocket.
and Draisaitl got that one.
Was that unanimous?
Because of the fact that he was leading the category. However, though, was there anybody that you thought could have caught him? I don't.
His teammate, maybe.
McDavid,
I didn't see where McDavid was point wise, but
13 behind.
Pasternak, maybe.
Yeah, Pasternak too. Mm-hmm.
Pasternak was what, 93?
Yeah, 95.
95.
He was 95. Yeah. McDavid 97. Draisaitl 110.
All right, so it's possible.
Yep. And now, mind you, if you're just tuning in, we're giving out the awards if the league moves right to the playoffs and the season is thus over. So this is a hypothetical award show. We're all on board that there's a chance that the season can be completed. Is that correct, gentlemen?
Yeah, at least the playoffs.
I'm moving away from the season being done, not being done. I'm moving towards that. And Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby both came out. They're just hoping for the playoffs at this point.
Right.
Obviously, it's the most intense, that's why these guys play. They play for the playoffs. They play for a chance to raise a cup. So
you're talking 10, 12 games. It's not going to be the end of the world if they move right to the playoffs. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not that worried about it. And like I was saying last week, maybe, what Elliot Friedman said, and you expand the playoffs just for 1 year and you get the bubble teams in that way. They're not being shortchanged because like the Rangers getting hot at the right time, moving up the ranks and being screwed out of a playoff spot because of a cancellation of the season.
Right.
Yeah. All right, then. So we move on. Next award, let's do William M. Jennings, which is the best goals against average, which is an easy one. Rask.
Tuukka.
He had the best GAA when the season went on pause. So if the season was not to happen and it was to end now, Tuukka would get the award automatically.
Yep, 2.12, sorry.
So does anybody think anybody could outdo him? He's just having a really good year. It's kind of hard.
No, he's been outstanding all season long.
Yeah, it'd be tough, man. I mean, there was a lot of dark horses like Elvis versus Lincoln's, 235. That's tough. That's a gap. I don't know if Jake Allen was still starting for St. Louis, but he's at 215 with 24 games played.
Yeah, I don't know if he is. I think he's still platooning with Bennington out there in St. Louis. So,
gotcha.
All right, then. So, move on from that, and let's see. Next one, we'll do the Bill Masterton Trophy, which has a tragic story to it. This one's the Perseverance and Dedication Award. This one I went homer, and I don't care. I give it to Oscar Lindblom. I give it to him hands down. I don't think anyone else deserves it more this year than he does. The coronavirus did, hit 2 Ottawa Senators players that we don't know about.
And a Colorado Avalanche player who has fully recovered from it.
So,
he's recovered already from it.
He recovered from it, yeah.
Yeah. It all stemmed from both of those teams played San Jose during the first quarantine there out in, where is that? What area is that? That's Santa Barbara.
San Jose is, I know it's Northern California.
Santa Clara?
Probably around there. I'm not exactly sure.
I mean, I know San Jose is right near San Francisco, so it's in the Bay Area.
Santa Clara area. That's where the big outbreak first happened in California. And right at that time, both Ottawa Senators and the Avalanche were in on road trips. But nobody from the Sharks, though, has been reported. It's just been the 3, 2 from Ottawa and 1 from Colorado.
Yeah, it's been a blessing in some ways. So, it's I don't know how to explain it, but I know it's a form of a blessing. But
I hear
you know,
you.
just praying positive vibes. You know, hopefully, people will start talking about the recovery numbers versus all the other numbers they're throwing out there.
Yeah. Then Peter Evans chiming in. Agree with the poll. He did a great job with the squad this year.
What's up, Pete?
What's up, Pete? You can catch him on Saturdays and on, I believe, Tuesdays. I believe on Birds of a Feather.
He's on everything right now.
Yeah, he
I'm
is.
surprised he ain't on here with us right now.
Yeah,
Mr. A2D.
and he has been on Lazy Booking over the last couple of weeks, and he'll probably continue to make his appearances on Lazy Booking as we continue to do the shows from our humble abodes. But yeah, what's up, Pete? And yeah, so I rolled with Oscar Lindblom for the Bill Masterton Trophy. I mean, I have to give it to him. I mean, he got diagnosed with a really bad case of cancer, and it's a real shame that he did. And he was having a great year. It was going to be a year we were all going to look back on and say that was the moment Oscar Lindblom proved that he is the real deal. And it all just came to a screeching halt after that. And he's always kept up a positive spirit. The Flyers have rallied around him when he's shown up into the locker room. He showed up on picture day, and everybody was so happy to see him. It's like, I got to give it to Lindblom for just being a trooper right now, going through what he's going through right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of went another route, but I agree with you, Maddie. He should definitely at least be nominated and a finalist for this award. But I got to give it to Patrice Bergeron. He's a class act in the locker room. He's a class act on and off the ice. He dedicated his life to this game, and the way he talks about other players and other teams, it's unmatched. His dedication to the sport, even in the community. He's a true leader on and off the ice, and the Boston Bruins should be consider themselves lucky to have him.
And he is. And let's be honest, when Chara officially retires, he's the next captain. So
I think he is, absolutely.
Rob, what about you? Who you got winning the Bill Masterton?
I'm going Zach Cassian. No.
Zach Cassian.
No.
I was going to say, boy, that would have been real interesting to see how that one goes through.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I almost jumped right through my screen.
What, you don't like Zach Cassian, Brian?
Hell no.
He's right up there.
Scumbag.
He's right up there with like Zach Bogosian and Aaron Asham and the players.
None of those guys ever try to kick anybody with their skate blade.
That is true. That's a horrendously dog shit thing to do. All right.
We got to make the people laugh. That's why the
Absolutely.
Cassian comment. No, I'm with you, Maddie. Oscars. 100%.
Oscar?
For all the reasons you said. Yep.
Oscar strong all the way. All right.
Hashtag it.
Next up, we go to. I decided to do this one, and I did the Conn Smythe. Even though technically the playoffs could still happen, but I did have Tampa in my scenario winning the cup, so my playoff MVP would have been Andrei Vasilevsky, because I believe he would have been a major piece to the puzzle of them winning their first cup since 2004. And in a lot of ways, the trend that follows is if your goalie's hot, you're winning the cup. It doesn't matter what your team is. Your team could be absolute garbage in front of him, but if he cannot be scored on, it's like, who cares? You won a cup and you didn't deserve it, but you got it anyway because your goalie was that damn good.
Let me jump in there real
Sure.
quick, Ryan, because I stole your thunder last week, Maddie, and you returned this week. I love it. I didn't want to fill this one out because I'm still hopeful. I don't want to jinx that there's no playoffs, but I too have Tampa Bay winning the cup. I have Tampa Bay advancing against the Flyers in the Eastern Conference Finals to face the Avalanche. And the Avalanche, if it does work out that way, they're a scoring machine. 237 goals on the season, plus 46 goal differential, which is third in the NHL. So if Tampa's winning, like you said, Maddie, Vasilevsky's standing on his head and winning this. Now, the advantage too for Tampa Bay is they're one of the teams in front of the Avalanche in goal differential with a plus 50, which I think is only behind the Boston Bruins at plus 53. So that there could be a lot of goals scored in that finals. And obviously, if Tampa wins, it's another 88 standing strong.
Yeah, this This scene still makes me sick.
Kata!
Watching
Love
the
it, Joe.
Capitals win the Stanley Cup still makes me sick.
And Joseph
Hey, I like that.
Borkowski, Conn Smythe, Kata Hot.
What's up, Joe?
Hey, Joe.
I didn't do Conn Smythe because it's such a you never know. Like our predictions, I know our predictions are our predictions, but come playoff time, it could literally be anybody.
Well, all right. So say your Stanley Cup final in your head. Who do you think winds up being the big player in your scenario, getting the Conn Smythe for the winning team, or even the losing team?
Well, when St. Louis won last year, I didn't think it was going to be Ryan O'Reilly.
No.
I'll give you that. I thought it was going to be Jordan Binnington the entire way, because, like you were just saying, when your goalie gets hot, you tend to win hockey games, and that's something that he did well. Was Ben Simmons Rookie of the Year?
Rookie of the Year. He wins the Calder Trophy, even though he doesn't play hockey.
It's a crap to me. It's a crapshoot. Every time I think it's somebody, and it's never that person I think it's going to be. So,
all right.
I'm not going to say that until I see the playoffs start.
You're going to abstain. Okay, gotcha. Yep. All right. So let's see here. Am I down? I think I'm down to 2 more awards. All right.
I got a few more.
You got a few. Okay, well, before we dive into that, I'll throw out this one because the only one that I have left after this one is the Art Ross, and we wanted a whole. Actually, we could do the Art Ross. The Hart we were going to save for last. So anyway,
I didn't even do the Art Ross.
Oh, the Art Ross Trophy for what was it? The points leader, which was Leon Draisaitl. He gets it automatically, so it's not even really a contest. All right, King Clancy Award, which is the best leader of his team, and I know I did it again. I'm going with Hayes for the Flyers, only because ever since he came to Philly, it's just like, damn, man, this guy's he's killing it. He's leading by example, and on top of it, man, the team loves him. They're rallying around him. It's like
I gotta agree.
And when he scores, they win like all the time. Like they very rarely lose when he puts a puck in the net. It's like you can't be much more of a leader than that. The only thing that's stopping him from wearing an A or a C is because Voracek and Giroux are there. Actually, when I think about it,
I think he does wear an A.
He does wear an A. What am I talking about? Anyway, point is that he has that A for a reason. You can't really. The numbers prove it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Kevin Hayes has been a huge breath of fresh air to this team. They win when he's on the score sheet, and when the team is feeling like they're starting to get a little funky, he tends to be there to lighten the mood. He's always talking. He's always communicating. He's always teaching somebody something. If anybody ever gets to a practice or a training camp, just specifically watch him. He pulls guys aside. He's always, like I said, he's always talking, teaching something. So great leader. What's going on over there?
Read the bottom.
Our producer loves you.
No, he doesn't.
John Cena's calling you out.
What am I riding the fence on?
He not giving out your Conn Smythe.
That's nothing that's on the fence. I'm straight up not doing it.
So it's worse than riding the fence. It's just not. It's never mind. I'm going to go back to my mozzarella sticks.
Is that God?
Yeah, please.
Was that God speaking? Where did that come from?
John Cena.
John Cena.
I actually kind of want a mozzarella stick now. Thanks, Ryan.
Well, only people who give predictions get mozzarella sticks.
I'm giving my predictions.
Well, wait a minute. Who's this Ryan you're talking about? It's John Cena.
Oh, sorry. John Cena.
All right. So
better leave.
All right. So let's see here. So we got through all that, and Rob, you gave yours, right? Or no? For the King Clancy?
I did not, and I was thinking of I'm gonna, I threw up on my mouth a little bit. Maybe I wanted to say that I already went, but just to play again devil's advocate, we'll go to Kevin Hayes' former team, New York Rangers. The Rangers have gone with Zibanejad. I mean, putting up
Yeah.
that 5-goal game right in the heart of them trying to creep back into this thing. He's been a leader to get that team from well beyond the playoff picture back into the playoff picture. You could even say, Panarin as well, but I'll go with Zibanejad.
Yeah, Zibanejad's a good choice, especially the way he's been playing lately.
Right.
I shouldn't say lately, before suspension.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Wah,
Anyway.
wah.
So
Yeah,
with
yeah.
with that though, we're down to the Hart Trophy, I believe now.
Vezina. What about Vezina?
I still have Vezina, and
Oh.
I still have the Lady
Duh.
Byng
How did I
and
forget
GM
about
of the
that?
Year.
So on to
Hello, Nicole.
Hart. Hey, Nicole.
Selkie,
So
too. Selkie.
no, we did Selkie. We did Selkie.
We did?
Yeah, it was the best defensive forward.
I got you. Oh, right. I said the battle between Coots and Bergeron. I'm gonna go back to that though. This could be Coots to get it. Though. I'm changing my pick to Coots.
Okay.
Smart man.
Yeah.
All right. So now we go. Let's do the Lady Byng. Might as well go with that one next.
I don't have
Okay,
one.
so Lady
I don't
Byng is
recognize it.
essentially Mr. Nice Guy. So for me, I went Jesper Bratt of the New Jersey Devils. Alexander Barkov won it last year for essentially being Mr. Nice Guy with 4 penalty minutes in the entire season. Jesper Bratt, 60 games this year, 6 penalty minutes, averaging 6 seconds in the penalty box.
Nice.
So Jesper Bratt has my prediction to win the Lady Byng this year.
For me, I went with Carter Hart, just because even at a young age, he's just shown that, he has this maturity that not many goalies his age would have. I mean, you're talking about a position where you're the last line of defense. Usually they're a little crazy, a little kooky because you're the goalie. You're getting shot at with pucks the entire game. But I give a lot of I would give that to Hart only because he's been such a big part of the community. He's given so much to kids, especially, and kids with cancer, Make-A-Wish. He's been a part of all of that at a very early age and from a very early beginning. It's like you gotta love that and you gotta admire that for a young player. Most young players
Absolutely.
wouldn't be thinking about things like that. They'll be too busy, trying to bang the hottest chick in the room and trying to, find which, find what they can get away with and pass an NHL drug test on. But but I would say, Hart's not like that. He's completely mature and he's like a veteran who's been playing for 20 years and he hasn't been playing for even 1 year in the NHL. He hasn't even played a full regular season yet. So there you go.
Yep.
And that's still true because if the season doesn't happen, it's like he still hasn't played a full 82 yet. It still doesn't change anything.
Yep. Joseph Horakowski says if Coots doesn't win the Selkie, it's a travesty, and I kind of agree with him.
Yeah. And then he says, Lady Byng goes to Tom Wilson.
100%.
Nicole Heron says, I wish Anthony Cirelli was looked at as a top contender for the Selkie.
Yeah, it's a good point, and he's a dark horse in that competition.
Yeah, he
true.
absolutely is. Everybody on that Lightning team has been, something special this year, all things considered, and they're winning despite some injuries. Even to Steven Stamkos, who was back before the suspension happened. So, it's tough. It's tough because there's a lot of good two-way players out there.
Rob, who did you have for the Lady Byng?
If you look at penalty minutes per time on ice, the actual leader is Austin Matthews. So I could go with him, but he looks too much like Jack White for my taste. So,
Oh my God, he does.
doesn't it?
Oh.
Blue Orchid baby up in Toronto. So I'm gonna go. Since I've been doing a lot of dark horse, I'm gonna keep with that. I'm gonna go with a defenseman, which is very rare to win it because less ice play. It doesn't get much nicer than Ryan Suter in Minnesota. He has 12 penalty minutes in about 24.34, actually exactly 24 minutes and 34 seconds per night. So, He's well liked, well respected around the NHL. So if any defenseman could win it, it could be him.
Considering his style of play, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah,
because he's a big physical shutdown defenseman.
Yeah, he does it clean.
Yep.
This day and age where a lot of shit gets called, that sometimes it's like, maybe you didn't need to call that one, but because they're trying to protect players, sometimes you make too many calls on people, and that's impressive. But all right, so that's the Lady Bing. Now we move on to the Vezina Trophy. This is probably I would actually argue this is probably the most famous out of all the NHL awards, even more than the Hart Trophy. Eliminate the Conn Smythe. That doesn't exist right now. I think it's probably the most, famous when you think about it, because the goaltenders are usually the ones that everybody looks at and you're like, wow, that goalie was amazing, And the Vezina every year, it's just like, it's one of those like, well, who won the Vezina this year? Because then that's the person everybody says, well, then he's the best goalie. Period.
They're like the quarterbacks for hockey. When the team goes well, they get the praise. When the team doesn't roll well, they get all the criticism.
Yep.
So I'm with you. Awards.
I think it's a lock too. Just like it's Tuukka. Yeah. I'm with you, Joseph. I'm with you. It's Tuukka.
Yeah, it's Tuukka. Yeah, you can't really argue against the year he's having.
No, he's having a phenomenal year. You wouldn't even think that he's would even be close to slowing down. 2.12 goals against, a .929 save percentage, doing all this in 41 games, and he is the number one goalie in the NHL right now, even at his age, and I believe he's around 34. So I mean, he's getting to the back end of his career here, but it's the Vezina's a lock.
Yeah, I think if anybody could challenge him, could be Connor Hellebuyck out at in Winnipeg. His stats are just the goals against is a lot lower, 257, but he's got a 922 save percentage. He could be someone maybe that takes some votes away, maybe could potentially upset him. Rask seems like a lock, but Hellebuyck, I think it's based on the team's record here too. Like, the Bruins are tops of the league, but the Jets are where they are, on the back of Connor for sure.
Yeah, Nicole Heron brings up an interesting name too, who could very much compete for the Vezina in Andrei Vasilevsky, who you guys were picking as a Conn Smythe winner in your predictions.
Yeah,
true. And Joseph saying Boston doesn't deserve him. No, you're right. Boston doesn't deserve him. Boston doesn't deserve a lot of the players that they have. Boston should just go back to being shit like they were back in the early 60s before they went and got Bobby Orr. But
you forget about his longevity too, man. Going back to that replay of the 2010, who was in net for the Boston Bruins?
Tuukka
Rask when he was a young pup with Tim the Toolman Thomas. So you're talking at least 10 years of service at this point and still performing at top notch. I think he's carrying the torch that was once carried by Brodeur and King Henrique.
No, absolutely. And then in 2011, winning the Stanley Cup with the Boston Bruins, maybe not the sole person who won it because Tim Thomas was still on the team then. And then 2013, losing to Chicago in the Stanley Cup Finals. So, he's got the experience. He's been around a long time, and he's one of those guys. He's just getting better the older he gets.
It's weird, actually, though, when you think about it. Rask has yet to win a Stanley Cup final, period, because he didn't win the 2011 one. Thomas did.
No, Tim Thomas did.
And that's the weird part. It's like,
wow,
that's crazy, though. When you think about it, it's like Rask is one of the best goalies in the NHL, if not the best goalie in the NHL right now, and he still hasn't won a final on his own yet. It's kind of crazy when you think about that, because just like, man, it's like Henrik. Only difference is that Henrik doesn't have a cup at all. He doesn't even have one as a backup. Tuukka has one at least as a backup, but he didn't win it. Henrik, he only got the Rangers to the final once, and they got stomped by the Kings. So that's crazy when you think about that. He could go his whole career with, he got one cup, but he never actually won one on his own. That'd be a weird little asterisk, especially when he starts breaking records, which I don't know if he has or not. He might have by now. He may start breaking into some records, and people will say, yeah, but there'll always be that little asterisk because he never won a cup on his own. Thomas did it for him in 2011. I can see that becoming a debate in Boston, I can really see that becoming a debate.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's not going to really it's like you're saying with King Henrik. It's not really going to ruin his legacy. He's always
No,
going to be
no.
known as one of the top goaltenders of all time, and you know, the cup just adds to it.
It would just be
That's
an
all it
interesting,
does.
it would just be an interesting talking point, between fans, where it's just like, man, it's weird how he could never win a cup on his own.
I'm
And
getting the sense that Nicole's a Tampa Bay Lightning fan.
really?
I'm getting that sense. I agree with you. Boston is shit.
Yeah,
Good comment.
Boston is shit. Yes, and I called them the Bruins. Nice.
I
And
can't hate on a couple players in the Bruins organization though. I can't.
Yeah.
I love Patrice Bergeron. He's one of my favorite players in the league.
Oh, I can hate on all of them. I can hate on every single one of them. Why? Because they're in my fucking conference, and we have to deal with them. That's why. Brian, you're lucky. You don't have to deal with them. The only way you'd ever have to deal with them is if the Ducks and them met in a Stanley Cup final. And the odds of that happening are pretty slim. Because
Speaking of the Stanley Cup final, the 2009 Stanley Cup final is currently being aired on NBC. If anybody cares to watch,
I will not watch that ever. Because
watching
we
it.
won the 2009 Stanley Cup final. But anyway.
It's just weird seeing Detroit in a playoff game.
Yeah, that's become rare, hasn't it? It's like you got to go and become a paleontology major to go find out fucking relics like that. It's been so long. Anyway, all right. So the only one we got left is the Hart.
No, I got one more.
Okay, what's the other one?
GM of the year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about the GM one. So who would you give that to there, Bri?
I would give that to Chuck Fletcher for building the team that he's built, acquiring guys like Matt Niskanen and Justin Braun, bringing in Kevin Hayes, immediately turning this team around with the guys that he brought in, and basically taking them from a rebuilder to a contender in the span of a couple months. I know he hasn't been here long, but he's done a lot in his short time, and again, putting the Flyers in a situation where they're now a contender in a couple months just by moving a couple players, it says a lot. And, hiring his coaching staff, being able to hire guys like AV and Mike Yao and Michelle Therrien and, bringing all these good coaches and players in together, getting them to mesh together, getting them to believe in the system that they have and believe in what they're doing. And at least it's success. And you're starting to see it. And it's just the beginning.
No,
the future is bright.
You're
Amen,
right,
brother.
The future is very bright. GM of the year for me, it's hard to argue against Chuck Fletcher. Rob, do you still want to do devil's advocate, or do you want me to take this one?
All you, baby. I can't pronounce the dude's name that I'm thinking of. The GM of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Wasn't
out there.
Wasn't who I was thinking, Maddie. There's another team out there that I'm thinking that's made a couple of really good moves this offseason. Got a team back in the playoff position. Let's see if you can come up with it.
I mean, it's Fletcher. I agree with Bride. But we'll see what you got.
I was between two teams. I was between the Flyers and another team.
Yeah.
So the team that you're talking about, are we talking West or are we talking East?
I'm not going to. It's going to give it away.
I mean, I thought Blue Jackets could be in that conversation because nobody expected them to be where they're at. So he had to do a lot of little moves to, replace the talent that team lost during this past offseason, and to be second in the wild card. If you don't get, hey, what's up, Will? Awesome, man. Yeah. Without him or even giving some credit to Tortorella, definitely this team's been managed well to be in contention.
No, absolutely. I'm not trying to take the credit away. I'm just there's another team in mind.
I didn't really think about this one, so you're good.
Before I roll with the GM there, I will go with Nicole Heron. I'll always give credit when credit is due to any player of any team. Pove is right. I am a Tampa Bay Lightning's fan, living 40 minutes out of Boston. Yet I can't stand the Bruins just like Matt.
Give me territory.
Nice.
Putting up a good fight. I love it.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I got it. Hey, man. Keep it up. Keep it up. Boston sucks. Happy they lost that Stanley Cup final last year. Thank God. Anyway, thank God the Blues exist. Anyway. Okay, so for me, you know what? It was difficult for me to narrow this one down because there are two, but one is no longer in playoff contention, so I can't really put them in there. So the one that I'm going with the Rangers.
Nope.
What team were you
Nope.
thinking of?
The other team I was thinking of is the Dallas Stars.
Stars,
Bringing in Joe Pavelski, Corey Perry, bringing that team back up to where they were a couple of years ago. That was the only other team I was thinking of that I could consider GM of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good nominee.
And then Will saying this quarantine shit sucks, but Flyers playoff hockey is in the summer is something I can be on board with. Hey man, I'm down with that. While everybody else is watching baseball, I'm watching playoff hockey, and it's in the middle of July.
I'm flipping back and forth.
Baby, yeah.
I'm flipping back and forth.
Yeah. Professional hockey guy.
Listen, he ain't no baseball guy.
No, not really.
Guy.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with being a hockey guy.
We're friends. Yeah.
That's why we all do a show together.
Hey, listen, nothing against baseball, and if the Phillies won a World Series, I'd be more than happy. Be like, hey man, Phillies won another one. Sorry, Rob. But
Hey, it wouldn't be a first time. Mets aren't even playing and they get players hurt. I saw it coming though. I read this excellent article and an accompanying video by Al Leiter, and is indicating what you look for in the pitcher's mechanics that could be sort of foretelling signs for future Tommy John surgery. And Noah fitted 2 of the 3 criteria.
I felt bad for Noah because, he's been battling injuries the last couple of years, and he's such a good talent. It just goes to show you that, guys need to go out and learn how to pitch and not continue just to throw straight heat, and manage their mechanics better, manage their physical therapy better, all kinds of shit. But, to see Syndergaard going down again, it sucks because he's a talented pitcher.
Yeah.
Way too talented to be hurt all the time.
Yeah, a lot of people contribute to that. He just works out too much, but that might have contributed the lat situation a couple seasons back. But this is just mechanics. I based on what I read, I thought he was doing it smart. But you want it, the leaner of the body, the better, and that way you can keep each shoulder with your elbow at your at the high point of the ball. Is if it's straight line. And you keep I know it's a hockey show, but 1 second. And if you keep the ball not perpendicular to the ground, those 2 things can help alleviate the strain on the ulnar collateral ligament. And Noah's big thing was he has a very bent front plant leg at the point of release. You want that as straight as you possibly can that feels comfortable, so that way that all that shot can go off your hips and your lower body and not on the elbow. So I thought. Fuckers.
And Will's chimed in. Yeah, Will's chimed in. I love baseball, but a Flyers playoff game on the 4th of July would be tits. And yeah, he's not wrong. That would be awesome. And if the Flyers win, then it's definitely worth celebrating. All right. And applause for both.
I am magic.
Delete. Anyway,
considering you were doing that in your camera, that was actually still pretty impressive. You got all the, like me, I can't get the images in.
Thanks. It looks weird when you're doing it. Brian looked like he was doing this for whatever fucking reason, like he had a freaking spasm or something. Anyway, all right. So with that, so we did GM of the year and.
Can we get a new producer?
No, we don't. John Cena's killing it today. All right. Now, so we've already. Oh, okay.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. All right. So now
he said no.
He said no. But anyway, so next up we will go into the Hart Trophy, the league MVP for the season, the very last award to be given out, and Wills is giving out the applause, but
he broke it down really well.
And Joseph said, Joseph Horkowski saying, I need Tommy John surgery from all this quarantine Call of Duty.
Dude, I got quarantine MLB The Show. I'm winded. I'm done.
Nicole Heron saying, "Smile and wave, boys." Okay, so.
There he is. Magic.
Oh, who was that? Oh, John Cena's back. Okay, I have no idea who that was 5 seconds ago until John Cena came back up there. Anyway, all right, so.
I am Damascus. I am over 3,000 years old.
Oh, man. If only you're watching AEW, Brian, you would be laughing right now. All right. So.
Not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah. All right, so on to our Hart trophies for the league MVP. And I was really wondering who to give this to at first, but as I started to weigh it, it's like it has to go to him. It has to go to Draisaitl. You know, I have to give it to him. Like, he's killing it on the score sheet. Like, it's like, damn, man, him and McDavid are just crushing it right now, and they are single-handedly making the Oilers something to be afraid of. You know, I mean, defense may be a little questionable and suspect, but Mike Smith's been doing a pretty solid job, and man, I'll tell you, that offensive attack from both of them has been, damn, it's impressive. So I had to give it to Draisaitl. He's just been killing it.
Nah, it's David Pastrnak the entire way.
Oh,
48
nice.
goals. Yeah, 48 goals, 45 assists. He's got a plus-minus at plus 21. He's just been a human wrecking ball throughout this entire league all season long. I believe he's got 4 or 5 hat tricks on the season. He's got like 1 or 2 4-goal games. The dude's just been flat out ridiculous all season long. And you know what's funny? I don't even think he's close to his prime yet.
Well, it's
So
only
I see the kid only getting better.
Pasta.
It's only his his third year in the league?
3rd or 4th, yeah.
Yeah. That's scary when you think about it. Rob, what about you?
I'm right with Brian, and I'm very surprised here. I thought I was going to be ridiculed for this one because this is one of my ones that I marked dark horse. But I guess when you're tied for the league leading goals with the great one, or the great 8, I should say, the great one doesn't play anymore.
Wayne Gretzky still plays?
With the grade 8, you know, but I think it's more than that, though. The reason why I thought I would give it to him over other nominees, you know, like Draisaitl or Connor McDavid or even Ovechkin himself, is what he's meant to his team this year. Yes, it's hard to say that with a team with Bergeron and Marchand, but if you look at their numbers, solid numbers for the average to above average NHLer, but down years for them. Pastrnak has really took the Bruins on their shoulders, and that's why they're one of the tops in the league because of David Pasternak's efforts. So I agree with you wholeheartedly, Brian.
And sup, Steph?
It's great to hear. What's up, Steph?
All right, then. And so, with that, Hart Trophy has been awarded. We've done our NHL awards. Of course, those are our predictions, or those are the awards that we gave out.
Does that sound? I don't know how it's coming through. I should be closer to the mic when they do that.
It was coming through.
I don't want to
All right.
overshadow either. Try not to.
And Nicole Heron says, I do agree with Matt. Their offense has been fire lately, Pove. And Brian, put some emojis down there. I actually missed them. But anyway.
Yeah, put that back up.
I think, she's shaking her head. She's doing this.
Like you said, Nicole, you got to give credit when credit's due.
Mm-hmm.
Pasta's been the man all season long.
All right. So,
my guinea came out. Sorry. You like the guinea background, by the way? I forgot to say that last show. Very Italian looking.
I love how you have that. But what I love is that you have the crown jewel right there of Gritty and that Flyers cube, man. That's perfect right there. It's perfect.
It's you getting on love tonight, Pove.
Appreciate it. It's rare these days. Thank you.
And applause for Pove once again. But anyway, and
all these dudes, they're the heart and soul of this show.
Don't be forgetty. Eat some spaghetti.
Fabulous comment. Terrific.
It's always a party when Steph shows up. All right.
It's even a party before she shows up. She just makes it that much better.
Yeah.
Brian Wilson goes, I go McDavid because he's just awesome and fuck Boston. Yeah, that's a good comment.
And Will
True.
says, I go McDavid because he just. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You just read that. My bad. And Nicole says, I do give credit when it's due. Pasta is only good for Dunkin' commercials.
Those Dunkin' commercials are great, though. I will
They
say
are
that.
great. What one's your favorite one, by the way? Actually, my favorite was the ones he did before the ones he's doing now with the lady hockey player when he would get thrown into the box and he would just have the chick handing him the frozen coffee and he sits down. Guy's like, she knows your orders? Yeah, I'm usually a regular in here. And then
He goes, make it a medium. I only got 2 minutes.
yeah, and then he said to the refs, like, hey, ref, check your voicemail. You missed some calls.
I do like the one
That's
he's
cool.
doing with who is it? Who's the U.S. women's hockey player? Is it Amanda Kessel?
I think I forget which female ice hockey player he's with in those commercials, but they are fun.
Oh, she chirped at him, and he's just kind of like, yeah, well, whatever. I love it. I love it.
And Joseph Horochovsky said, Duncan is life. If COVID-19 takes Duncan from me, I'll die. I don't think it, don't worry, it won't. It won't. And Nicole Heron,
That's it.
Pasta's feeling.
That's
Then he skates up. Yes, that's right. That's exactly what happened. Oh, that was funny. And then he knit the sweater on the one. It's like, oh, that's how I have this little guy. He's got the little Boston Broad sweater on his iced coffee.
Love it.
I think hockey players should do more commercials. We really should have them do more commercials.
No, absolutely. Hockey players are guys that they all have a personality. Guys like Kevin Hayes.
Oh my
Kevin
god!
Hayes should be doing commercials.
I knew it wasn't Kessel. It's Kendall Coyne. That's who it is.
Coin. Okay.
Yeah, she was on Flyers pregame too. But did a great job on pregame too when they were doing that women's hockey tour. Go out and support women's hockey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nice.
I think they had a U.S. women's hockey player on NHL Network too for NHL Now. I don't remember who it was, but it was. I think it was Lauren Gardner, Jackie Redmond, Jamie Hirsch, and the hockey player. I can't remember her name.
Hillary Knight, maybe?
No, it definitely wasn't
No.
Hillary Knight. I know what she looks like, but doesn't really matter. It was a great show, great time. They did an awesome job.
Yeah, true. But with that, Nicole saying I do a little every time I'm in the box. Yes, that's the commercial. It Pasta Duncan commercial about swims. Yes.
Because I'm a
YouTubing him over
cold Bruin.
She's got to be YouTubing him over there or something.
Joseph Borkowski then says best hockey commercial ever, Bud Ice Penguin from the 90s. When I was 7, those commercials scared the shit out of me. Doomy doo.
Oh, I remember.
Bruno, replace that graphic with Joseph is awesome because that's a fabulous comment.
That's a great comment. I forgot about those commercials.
Didn't Eric Lindros do Elio's Pizza commercials back in the day?
Yeah. Him, John LeClaire.
And wasn't it Renberg? Wasn't it the Legion of Doom line?
No, it was somebody else. And then Bobby Clark came in and stole the pizza from him.
Oh.
I don't remember that one. It's weird.
Yeah, he was saying something Eric Lindros was saying something along the lines of like, yeah, I'll show you guys how to make a pizza, boys. Gets a little apparently they have a little microwave oven or whatever in the locker room and heated it up and whatever.
I wouldn't be surprised. They probably still have that thing there too. But let's see. Brian Wilson saying doobie doo. And Nicole saying nope, I know them all by heart. And she says hashtag photographic memory.
Nicole's awesome. Where have you been hiding?
Yeah. Hey, if you are a first-time viewer, we are happy to have you here. Feel free to keep on coming back every Thursday at 10. But all right. So, with our NHL awards officially done and out of the way, now we're going to turn the floor to something different. We're not going to talk about hockey, believe it or not. We're actually going to talk about what you guys have been doing in this quarantine. I mean, no secret, it's not like we really have much social life going on with this quarantine right now. There's not a whole lot of public gatherings. So, what have you guys been doing? And we'll also tell you what we've been doing as well. And Will says those Bud Ice bottles looked like an ice block at the time. First beer I ever drank in 1997. Nice. Nice.
First beer I ever drank was a Yingling in 2002.
2002.
It was a sophomore in high school or something like that.
So the year that you had your first ever beer, Bri, the Detroit Red Wings won, and also Wills. So there you go. There's a weird correlation. Both years.
Ew, Joseph Horkowski's apparently doing a lot of praying. Says he's building up that forearm strength.
Hey, you don't know. Maybe he has a gym at his house and he's just working out the forearms. How do you know what
he's work out just the forearms?
Oh man.
Believe me, I pray myself.
I don't always pray, but when I do, it's with the forearm. But
Yingling's a good beer to start with. The lager is awesome. It's local beer too. But
yep.
I go a little older. I started off with Pabst Blue Ribbon. That was my first beer.
Yeah, I hang out with a little bit of Labatt Blue now.
Oh, I love the Labatt Blue. Ooh, nice.
And
Come on, it's a hockey show. I had to go Canada.
Yeah, buddy.
And Wilson says, I've been working and getting higher than giraffe pussy.
Nice.
Love you guys.
For the wicked wrister. Nice.
Nicole's saying, I am a first-time viewer. I'm a hockey fanatic. Real women like hockey. True. And smart women like the Tampa Bay Lightning. And yes, that is a real bumper sticker saying on my SUV. Nice.
This is a woman after my own heart, minus the Tampa Bay Lightning part.
Oh, that's funny. Well, hey, welcome to the fam that we call the fan base here at A2D Radio. We are very happy that you have joined us for the first time of hopefully many more times to come. All right, and so I guess I'll kick off what I've been doing. Basically, I've been doing work, shockingly enough. I'm still having to physically go there and everything. And, Joseph saying, my first beer was an 01 Molson Ice. So 01, the Avalanche won the cup. Rob, what was the year of your first?
The year of my first
beer. I just want to clarify that. First beer. I didn't want to go anywhere else with that.
Oh yeah, my first. It was the Pabst Blue Ribbon. That was my first beer.
No, what year?
What year? Oh Jesus, you want to date myself?
1935.
Yeah, 1935. Back when they were a nickel. I want to say it was like 98, 99. Somewhere around there. Like I was like Brian, I was like a sophomore in high school, and it was at a Knights of Columbus, how their convention hall had a little adjoining bar to it, like the Elks or something like that. And I had this can of Pabst Blue Ribbon, and my old man slid it to me, so it was nice.
Hope he remembers. Down the bar with foof.
Yeah.
Down the bar.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Nice. Nicole's saying, I have a special place in my heart for the Ducks. I have watched the Mighty Ducks more times than I can count. Are you talking the movies or are you talking the team?
I think she's talking the movies, and I think, never mind, I'll keep that thought to myself.
We like the Ducks. We're pro Ducks. We're pro Duck show.
We are
pro Ducks.
See, Bombay's here.
What's great about this, guys? I've been watching a lot of these remote broadcasts over different genres. Like they even did Talking Dead after Walking Dead like this. Everybody has a problem with it. Everybody. and this one where they were trying to high five like this, Brian, like meet me, like other way. So, but like that. They were like over here for like 10 minutes. I'm like, come on, the other side. What are you doing? I was taking bets on when are they going to figure it out? Because they got to bet on something. You can't bet on sports.
Betting on high fives on the Talking Dead. Yeah, that's the way to go. I mean, it's the way to go.
Lights.
It's Steph saying Natty Lights. My first would be
Yeah.
Yingling. So, we'll say Molson Ice is a heavy first beer. We used to call Molson Ice the Widowmaker.
True story.
Some-
Hashtag it.
Yeah,
Nice.
some might still.
Yeah.
Some might still. I
But
think my first heavy beer was Sam Adams.
Sam Adams.
Yeah.
Oh, I had Sam Adams once, and I will never have it again. But it was probably a bad flavor for me. I had like the Oktoberfest one. I hated that shit. Never will drink that
Oktoberfest
again.
is. I'm not
Never
a big Oktoberfest beer guy.
No.
Mango
It-
Blue Moon. Don't knock it till you try it. It's legit.
Blue
You
Moon's
see,
not
here's
bad.
my thing. Here's my thing. I don't dislike Blue Moon, but my thing is, if you have to add fruit to a beer, it's not real beer.
I will grant you that one.
That's just me. That's
but
just me. If
as
that's
like
your
a-
thing, it's all
but
good.
but as like a specialty, if like you just wanted to mix it up a little bit and have some fun, and who gives a shit, it's not a bad option to go. You know, if like you're not trying to like save face or trying to act like around your buds, it's just like fuck it, Blue Moon and a little lemon, fuck it.
Let's just put it to you this way. I don't throw beer away. I will absolutely drink an open one until either I fall asleep or until I finish it.
There's nothing wrong with that philosophy.
I've had Bud Light with fruit in it, and I've dumped it out and thrown it away. It's
Why would
disgusting.
Ugh, Bud Light and fruit. Ugh.
Yeah,
And
you've never had like the Bud Light Lime or the Bud Light Orange? The orange one actually tastes legit like orange soda.
Does it really?
It really does. It's not good.
I've tried to avoid Bud. Period. Just no. That's like the poor man's drink. No. And let's see, Nicole Heron saying movies, of course, but that doesn't mean I can't enjoy the team. Shoot, I still have a special place for the Canucks in 2011 after the heartbreak in the Eastern Conference Finals. I was begging for them to destroy the Bruins as a result of the Stanley Cup Finals that year. We don't talk about 2011 in my house.
That was
She's
AV,
awesome.
right?
Where's she been?
Yeah. That was
Will's-
AV coaching that Canucks team, no?
Dude, I'm
Yes.
telling you, like, I throw fruity beers away. Fruity beers, not real beer, fruity beer.
I
Fruity
love
beer
that.
is disgusting.
We'll say Daily, who the fuck throws beers away? But I will say, and you know who the goalie was on that 2011 Tampa team? It's going to be a
The
blast
20
for the
team?
past. Yeah, it was Dwayne.
Nikolai Happy Bowling.
No, it was Dwayne Rollison.
Oh,
Dwayne Rollison was the
yeah.
2011 Tampa Bay Lightning starting goaltender. 2011.
I'm moving to Rhode Island.
It's a good state. I like that
It
out
is a good
there.
state.
Rhode Island, Vermont.
Really? Dwayne Rollison got him to the Eastern Conference Final?
He did. That was like his last hurrah before he pretty much retired like the following season.
Got hot at the right time.
Yeah, and he was pretty much almost 40 when he got them that far. It was crazy that he got them where he got them. But that was
check that one.
no, it really was Dwayne Rollison in 2011. It was not Cabby Bolin because Cabby Bolin by that time he was playing in Edmonton. And let's see, Dwayne Rollison. Wow, great pull, man. Thanks, man. Thanks, Will.
Look at all those books, man. The professor. There we go.
Yeah, all this is hockey. Just
I
here.
believe it.
Research, archive, scribe, or whatever the hell you want to call me. Anyway.
Scribe.
I'm surprised Rob didn't take that one.
1305.
But anyway, I pretty much just been doing, playing Doom Eternal, which is a kick-ass game, by the way. If you have a PS4 or an Xbox One, go play Doom Eternal. It's a fun game. I will say that. And Nicole Huron saying, no, it's not. Stay away. Shoot, blink, and you'll miss the whole state. Smallest state with the longest name.
Yeah, you're right. It was Dwayne Rollison. Mike Smith actually started one game with the Tampa Bay Lightning that year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't played Doom Eternal yet. I have been playing the originals from the PC.
God, they're so much fun.
I got the Doom game that comes with like all 4 of the Doom games that ever came out.
I think it was BFG edition.
Yeah, and I'm wound up getting all that for PlayStation 4. I've been doing a lot of that. A lot of MLB The Show. Raking, though. Been watching a lot of movies as well. Picked up my guitar. I've been playing that a little bit more again. getting all the dust off of that. What else have I been doing? That's pretty much about it. Working myself. Having to go into work every once in a while.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Getting some hours. Nice.
Yeah, man.
For like delivery food and stuff.
No, I mean we're doing strictly takeout, but I'm not.
That's what I mean.
We're doing strictly
Preparing.
takeout.
Yeah, you're
I'm
back
not-
now. You're the cook, man.
Yeah,
I know
man.
you. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, baby.
We have yet to actually go to like Ryan's restaurant and actually order food that he's cooked.
You can't afford to go to my restaurant.
No, I can't. But you never know. Maybe
Actual.
maybe maybe I'll save up money, and one day I'll surprise you, Bri. Be like, hey, I know this guy who cooks your food. I think he might be a bad idea to have there in the kitchen.
Oh, I've been working there long enough. They already know it's a bad idea. They keep me there anyway because I'm an extra body.
Bro was saying A2D Xbox One Originals bagels, and then Brian Wilson saying, Daily, where do you work?
I work at Fleming Steakhouse in Marlton.
Sounds like a good place.
Damn right.
And Nicole Heron saying, flashback hockey fact, 1992 Tampa Bay Lightning was the first team in the NHL to have a female player in a professional game. She played as their goalie. That is true.
I remember that. Back in 92. Was that on this day too?
That.
Because we were talking about doing this day in hockey history. That could be the fact.
That was, I'm not sure. And then
We'll just say it is.
Yeah, and Joseph Horakowski saying having to be my son's math, reading, art, PE teacher, and lunch lady has been interesting.
Lunch lady, huh?
I could imagine.
He's lost in lunch lady land.
I was thinking the same thing. The Chris Farley jump, shaking around and jumping.
Oh man,
the old Adam Sandler song.
Yeah, and I've been so what any shows you guys have been binging? Like I've been binging Archer pretty much the entire time. Like that show's just kick ass. But
Fear the Walking Dead. I'm want to try and get into Preacher as well.
Nice. What about you, Rob? What you been doing?
Well, I wanted to highlight in because we've got some baseball fans chiming in too, in case they had missed in the beginning of the show. Why I'm wearing the Toledo Mudhens hat. The Battered Bastards of Baseball. It's a phenomenal Netflix documentary about the last independent team in the late '70s, owned by Kurt Russell's dad, Bing Russell. If you're a baseball fan, it's great, man. It pulls at America's purse strings. Might make you crave baseball a little bit more, but it's a good story. So it's been business as normal for the most part because you boys know I work from home anyway, doing the articles, and albeit a lot of sports have been shut down, but we're doing articles on like esports. If you can bet on it, man, people want to read about it, like Australian soccer before they just got postponed. So, trying to stay busy. I think keeping busy and keeping active, exercising in the house is a good way that I won't dwell on things. You know what I mean? And stay in a positive frame of mind. So that's what I've been trying to do, man. But otherwise, just straight cooling it.
Yeah, I mean, I played with some fireworks outside with my nephew the other day, but other than that,
Nice.
Nice.
It's pretty much business as usual for me. It's a normal day.
Yeah.
But I would say though, two games I did watch though, old hockey games. I watched a Western Conference semifinal matchup from 2004 between the Calgary Flames and the Detroit Red Wings, and this was Game 6. So this was the last game of that series, and it went to OT. And you know what surprised me? I forgot he was on the team. The Red Wings goaltender was Curtis Joseph, and I forgot that Cujo was on that team because I realized that whole team was all-stars. They had Matthew Schneider, they had Brett Hall, they had Nick Lidstrom, and they had Darian Hatcher was on the team at that time. They did the whole like chart. There was 35 cups between the entire players combined on that Detroit Red Wings team. I was like, what? 2004. They just had an all-star team, and it was crazy. Like it was amazing, just the players that they had on that one team at the time. But anyway, yeah. So I watched that game. That game was fun. That was a fun game with Calgary being an underdog and managing to go to the Stanley Cup Finals that year. It's a shame they didn't win it, But man, it was an amazing run that they had. Although for Nicole, she'll remember 2004 very fondly because that was the year her Tampa Bay Lightning won their cup. So there you go.
Yeah, well,
Anyway.
what's been nice lately, especially today, like I've been flipping through, they're showing a lot of like greatest games and stuff like that. So I've been kind of flipping between a bunch of old games. Like they had the 2017 World Series between Chicago and Cleveland that was on earlier. 2018 Home Run Derby was on earlier. A couple Flyers games. Roy Halladay's perfect game was on earlier.
Nice.
So like they're giving us a little bit of a fix, but it's not the same as it being live, at least for me anyway.
All right. So with that, that pretty much concludes what we've been doing in between our times being shuttered in quarantine, and now it's time with the last 5 minutes we got of the show. And Steph saying, "Good job, fam. I'm drunk."
With the happy hours
one
more,
more,
baby.
If I have one more, I might be.
Hey. And we're happy we could help there, Steph. All right, so with the last 5 minutes, it's time for us to do our final segment of the show, and that would be the penalty box. And this is where we take anybody or anything or whatever, and we throw it into the box because they belong there because they did something that was bullshit somewhere down the line, and that's why they're here. Who wants to start this bad boy?
I'll jump in. Mine's easy. It happened earlier today. I'm throwing Section 247 Sports into the penalty box.
Okay.
There's been some ties with our company and theirs in the past, and I got a Twitter follow. And right away, when people follow me, I try to follow back. You know what I mean? I'm good like that with my social medias, and when I go, as soon as I click on their page, the first thing I see is an exact picture of what you're all seeing right now, but with them in it. And I'm like, whoa, that looks familiar, you know? So I think I texted somebody back real quick, and I went back to the Twitter handle to, either follow them or be like, yo, hey, where'd you get that crazy idea? I wonder. And I found that they had blocked me. So they just followed me, and then they blocked me, and they were hoping that if I were following them, it would get stuck like that. I never clicked the button, but when I go on their page, it's saying following, but it's not on my list. So I'm not exactly sure if they nailed or it's some sort of contrived thing, but they're basically either A, drumming up follows to get their list up, or they're identifying people from this radio station to block them, verify it's them, and block them so they can't see them ripping off our ideas. So it's bullshit. It's fucking. It's not in the American spirit right now, and fucking apparently it's been a long-standing thing with them. I'm giving them a 10-minute major just for being fucking fraudulent.
I like that. That does sound very, very fraudulent. I don't like that.
I like supporting other people, but I mean, not when I see that bullshit, because that's some bullshit, right there.
Yeah, no, I agree. I go next. Unfortunately, I don't want to have to do this because I know the situation. I know everything that's going on right now, but I gotta put the NHL in the penalty box for 2 minutes.
Okay.
Cancel the NHL awards, cancel the combine, and you cancel the NHL draft. Now, I'm hoping that it's just a postponement and they just worded it wrong, but canceling all that makes me real nervous that the season isn't going to pick back up, that there may not be a playoffs come May, June, July, whenever. It just makes me very uncomfortable. I don't like it. I don't want to be stuck in a situation where, we're not going to have a draft or anything like that, not a playoffs, especially after Gary Bettman and all these players are sitting there saying how badly they want the playoffs, how badly they want the Stanley Cup to be raised, that it would be a travesty if the Stanley Cup doesn't get raised this year. No. It makes me very uncertain, makes me very uncomfortable. I don't like it. Gary Bettman, you got to sit for 2 minutes.
All right, then. We'll go with that one. Brodo's saying penalty box Madonna for whatever the hell that weird video was on Twitter.
Oh yeah, good call.
Oh,
I have
man.
no idea what he's talking about, but I'm sure it's well deserved.
Man, hey, Brodo, I just want to know, why aren't you producer today? What happened? Why'd you tag in John Cena? Just wanted to know why. It's just confusing. Anyway, all right. My penalty box nominee, and this time I'm going to go with a company and companies, actually. And this is going to be related to the pandemic or the epidemic that's going on right now. Because let me ask you guys a question. You love video games, right? You play games. Would you define that as an essential business, that a store that sells video games has to stay open in a time like this?
I mean,
so.
a lot of companies are still open.
But would you define them as an essential business, like
Yeah,
one that
only
needs to
essentials
stay
can
open?
be. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I'm not talking.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
see it as essential, but I mean, there's still a lot of non-essential companies that are still operating. Staples is operating. I get, some people are still working from home and need to go there, but there's still a bunch of non-essential companies still operating. So,
But here's the thing.
I have no problem with it.
Here's the thing. So, GameStop, who of course sells games, stayed open during this, but that's not even the real kicker. You know what the real kicker was? They called themselves an essential business when people were calling them out for staying open when they shouldn't have. During a time period where there's a virus going around, they're still accepting trade-ins, which is scary because you don't know where those games have been. How do you know that these people that they haven't interacted with someone who has the virus? And how, on top of it, are you not going to provide products to protect your employees and protect your customers at the same time? Because they did not provide them gloves, they didn't provide them rubbing alcohol, they didn't provide them toilet paper. They provided them nothing. However, though, they did say to managers, you could go ahead, take a payout, and go to the store and buy some. Why the fuck would you do that when you're a fucking multi-billion-dollar company? You can't fucking buy some fucking alcohol or some toilet paper. I know that supplies are not exactly, they're moving fast, but you're a multi-billion-dollar company. You can't do that to protect your employees that you say are running an essential business? And here's their excuse for staying open. Here's their excuse. They said, we provide keyboards and mice for computers for people who work at home, which is bullshit, because I've been in plenty of GameStops and I can probably name 2 that I've seen that sell keyboards and mice. And one of them I don't even think is open anymore. So what the fuck? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You stayed open because of that reason. And here's the real reason why they did this. They stayed open because Doom Eternal was coming out and another franchise that's super popular, Animal Crossing, was coming out. They stayed open just to get those sales, and once those sales were final and they did all that, they shut the stores down. So you put how many people at risk just to make a quick buck and basically say fuck you to your health and your wellness, to both your employees and your customers? Now, first of all, customers should not be going to a GameStop right now. I don't know why you would think it's okay to go to a GameStop at this time. But here's the thing, though. It's still risky anyway. On top of it, it's risky because you don't know, especially after seeing that, where they're not even providing the basic sanitation needs that you need at this moment. It's not like there's nothing going around that isn't serious. This is serious. But yet they still felt the need to stay open. And it wasn't just them. Other gaming outlets did the same thing too. And that's fucking bullshit, because employees are being treated like cattle here. Customers are just looked at as whales and marks to steal money from. And you're putting them at risk to possibly getting this virus. That's bullshit. If you're not an essential business, you have no reason to stay open. Yes, I understand.
It's illegal to stay open right now if you're not essential business. And how could this be essential?
I mean,
this is the type of shit that's going on that's going to push this all further, because you're encouraging people to, come out of their homes, right? To spend money so the economy doesn't take a fucking. It's all about dollars and cents, like you said, Maddie. It's not about helping people out because they need something to do, right? That's bullshit. You should have enough in your house. And I think somebody commented that you can buy them straight through your PlayStation store or whatever, Xbox or whatever you got. You can buy it straight through there. He also, Joseph also said Art Ross, Pornhub for the free premium during the lockdown. That's common. That's common at the night right there. Right there. That's the bet. You just won.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
I mean, like, I get it, but at the same point, like, I'm essentially not in technically an essential business.
Right.
I mean, yes, I'm in food. I'm in the food industry. So yeah, people need food to survive. So yeah, I get it. I'm essential personnel, technically, but at the same time, we don't know what different GameStops across the country carry. Obviously we know that it's strictly video games for the most part, maybe some movies, toys here and there, but we don't know what else they carry. I mean, for a long time, they took in DVDs. For a long time, they took in iPods, laptops, all that other stuff. So, I mean, who's to say that one in Texas isn't selling something that's considered essential? So,
but that's the thing, though. You can get a keyboard and mouse almost anywhere. You can go to Best Buy, get one. You can go to Target, get one. Go to Walmart, get one. And at the end of the day, a lot of times you're either getting a laptop that already has the keyboard and trackpad connected to it, and you could buy a mouse, even from a CVS where I work. You could just take it, find the little piece that plugs into your USB, and you got a mouse right there. And you could buy that at a drugstore. You don't even need to go to a GameStop.
How much are you paying for that? $45 maybe?
You're gonna be paying around the same price anyway at GameStop, because they're trying to sell you gaming ones.
Yeah, but you also have the option of buying used ones as well, which are not going to be the same price. If you're charging the same price for a used one, that's theft.
At the end of the day, though, it's still one of those things where you look at it, it's just like it's not really an essential business, and there's no reason they should have stayed open. And at the same time,
yeah, but you can't buy used products in a normal store, Ryan.
Yes, but at the same token,
people are going to try and save that $1 too.
But
on a used keyboard, used mouse, used tracker, whatever.
But not all GameStops carry it.
So but I'm just saying that.
And then on top of it too, think of it this way: PlayStation Network. You can go buy the games at the PlayStation Store. You have the PS Now. If you have that subscription, you've got hundreds of games available to you. Xbox Game Pass, you got hundreds of games there. They keep adding new ones. You get free games with PS Plus every month. There's so many other ways to get games. And hell, you've got Amazon right the hell there, and you can get used ones there. Yeah, that's
I'll
risky
give you that.
too.
I'll give you Amazon. But I mean, who's to say that it's even about video games to begin with? Like GameStop, again, they're not just video games. They have all kinds of shit there.
They do, but again, it's T-shirts and toys, and it's just like that's not essential stuff. That stuff that at the end of the day, it's not something that's going to help you live. It's not something that's going to help you wipe your ass, and it's not something that's going to disinfect your hands when you touch a surface that you don't know who the fuck's been touching it before you. It's just, if you don't fall into that category where you're not selling those products, like Bri, you fall into essential. You're food. Technically, yeah, but you're still essential because you're serving food to the public. That's a necessity. You need food to survive. I mean,
yeah, but we're in the same time. Like, it's not like we're a supermarket where, we're literally like the people who are handing the food out are in direct contact with the people that are coming into the store. So
ooh, that's no bueno.
It's not like there's that space. Like, they're literally going out to the cars, handing them their bag of food, and walking away. Kind of the same thing.
Well, do you guys have gloves at least?
We do in the back, but they don't use it. We can't use them out front.
Well, that can change, though. They can change it where it's just like, okay, you got to wear gloves because the situation is getting too bad. It can happen, but it can happen, and you guys have the ability to provide that product. GameStop wasn't even providing that to their employees, so they were still putting people at risk, and they didn't give a shit. That's the ultimate problem here. They didn't give a shit at the end of the day. That's where the real kicker is. If you don't give a shit about the public and you're just greedy at the end of the day, then you're just a piece of shit. Taking advantage of the fact that that most stores are going to be closed and most of your competition is going to be closed, and that you're running people at risk by not even providing products to protect themselves with, that's bullshit. Like, it's bullshit because, again, if you're young enough, you're not at risk too highly. You still could get it.
All
And
right,
on
let's look at this from a business standpoint. You have, like you said, 2 big releases coming out.
yes.
We realize that you can get them on the PlayStation Store, Xbox Live, or whatever the hell their online thing is called. Do you really? You're gonna close your stores down for that? Like, I get your point. Like, yeah, it's a money issue, but Lord knows when you're gonna get the stores open again. You're gonna lose out, and again, that's a lot of money they're gonna lose out on.
But here's the thing, though. When you have governments, state governments saying if you are not an essential business, you must close. And law enforcement is coming and saying, hey, you got to close your business down.
Yeah.
That should be a warning sign right there to say, hey, this is getting out of control. We don't want to contribute to the problem that's currently going on right now. We need to do the due diligence and not be – you're going to look worse coming out of this. When the other side comes out, I wouldn't be surprised if people just said, fuck you, GameStop, for doing what you fucking did, because you stayed open and you put people at risk. And, by the way, after GameStop shut down, they are not going to pay their employees after shutting down any kind of severance whatsoever, once again contributing to the other bullshit that we're dealing with people going out of losing their jobs.
Well, that's
everywhere.
That's the devil's advocate, though, that these people that are working for GameStop, they could be pro this because the longer they can work, the longer they can pull in money. And the minute that they have to shut down, then their income is just squandered. So that's the one positive ramification, but I don't think it's an even trade-off.
I mean, they may have even gone to somebody, the official, maybe government official, Senate, whatever, committee, town council. I'm not sure where they would go, but they could have already gone there and said, hey, what do we got to do to become considered an essential business? They could have already done that and gotten granted, okay, you could be an essential business. Do you do this, this, and this? Do you sell this, this, and this? Can you do this, this, and this? And if they followed those guidelines, they could be considered an essential business and stay open and not have to worry about any of that.
But again, though, to me, the way I look at it, it's like, they belong in the box. It's just like you're not an essential business. And there's nothing in the world that'll convince me you're an essential business. You don't provide anything that is life-sustaining. All you're providing is keyboard and mice. You can get those in most places that are considered essential businesses, and they're sitting in their electronics aisle. So technically, you are not an essential business. Just because you provide 2 products that someone else could go buy somewhere else, and probably cheaper. It's one of those things where, again, you're not an essential business. You shouldn't be open, and you're lucky that no one got caught, and you're lucky that no one got this. But at the end of the day, it's like still, that is a sad thing to do, and it's show that you only gave a shit about money in the first place. GameStop's run by pieces of shit. Oh well, I guess I'm not saying anything that people don't already know. And it's just I don't like that. Like, I don't like businesses taking advantage of a situation that they shouldn't be taking advantage of. It's not a situation where it's a holiday and everybody else was closed but them. It's like, all right, fine. They took advantage of that. They saw the opportunity and they took it. That's just capitalism.
This is the last thing I'm going to say. This is the last thing I'm going to say. How many of those GameStops are in the state of New Jersey? How many states are actually in the lockdown that we're in? Because I guarantee you, not all of them.
Not all of them. But they're trying to stay open even in the states that have the lockdowns.
Well, they're not going to close certain stores if it's a regional thing. Even if it's a lockdown, they're going to get that grant to be considered an essential store, and they're going to stay open. Because I guarantee you, it's not just okay. So I'm sure they break it up into regions, just like any other business. Certain regions do in certain areas. Like my restaurant, we have 2 regions. We have the Eastern Coast, and then we have the Western. We have nothing really in between. So if they break it down somewhat along the lines of that, they're not going to close 2 or 3 stores in their region and keep the rest of them open. They're just going to keep them all open.
Well, I guess we could say we agree to disagree on this. I believe they go into the box. You do not. And that's that.
I'm not saying they don't belong there. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
You're just debating the severity of the penalty. I got you. Well, my penalty would have been a game misconduct. So that I would have thrown their asses out.
And I agree with that assessment, with that value of penalty for the box tonight, Maddie, because if they're taking advantage of the situation, if that is indeed their context, how are they any different from that dude that bought over 17,000 hand sanitizers and couldn't sell them on Amazon? Because then they're the same. If it's that's what their contract, if they're trying to keep their employees paid for as long as possible, and maybe they're in states where the threat isn't at risk, I could see it, but it's certainly not essential in my opinion. And it's just promoting people being around each other at a point where it should be isolation. If we want to, get through this sooner than later, I don't, know if that necessarily agrees or disagrees with either one of your gentlemen, because I hear you both saying those points.
Yeah, I mean, you can only sit in the house for so long before having to say, I have to get out of the house. I have to go for a walk. I have to get some kind of fresh air. Like what?
Me.
Oh, I've been there.
I'm going cuckoo. I need to get the fuck out of here. No, I got out actually a little bit yesterday. Which is nice.
So I mean, you got to get out and do something and enjoy the stuff. But you just got to remember to just be careful, be safe, keep the practice the social distancing. And we'll be fine. You can't just sit cooped up in a house for however long this is going to be.
But be careful.
You're going to go crazy. You're going to go nuts.
In New Jersey, if you're deemed non-essential on the road, you know what I mean? They're pulling people over. I mean, I don't know how you could police that 100%, but that is a possibility now in New Jersey.
You can. I think they do it between a curfew hours.
No, it's all the time now. It was the curfew, or at least this is what I've been
told. Or it's after the curfew. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I know what you meant. It was from like 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. You could be on the road, like going back and forth. Now, if you happen to be pulled over and you're saying, officer, I'm on my way to or from work, okay, essential, proceed, right?
Yeah, I actually got a letter from work,
right,
saying like if you get pulled over in the situation and they ask you like just flash them the letter, they should let you go.
It's all hours non-essential, Ryan. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So
I was breaking the law a little bit yesterday.
Your secret's safe with us and everybody watching. And all right.
I'm Wayne Brady, bitch.
All right, guys. So
Wayne Brady gonna choke a bitch.
That was the penalty box. And that will do it for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We thank you all for joining us, for the first-time viewers and for the long-time viewers. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. We very much appreciate you guys. We love you, fam. You mean everything to us, and we stand by everyone who's fighting the coronavirus right now, whether you're a doctor, whether you're sick, whether you know somebody who's sick. We are with you guys, and hopefully you kick coronavirus's ass, and it's no longer a problem in the near future. With that, guys, we will leave you, and we will come back next week at 10, and we'll do something really fun next week. Instead of doing an NHL Awards prediction, we're going to draft a team, but we're going to do it in a different way. We're not going to do it based on skill. We're not going to do it based on cups or any of that other shit that you usually factor into drafting a fantasy team. No. This, my friends. Night, Nicole. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You too, Nicole.
And we hope to see you next week. And we are going to draft a team based solely on one thing. The one thing that hockey is most beloved for besides its playoffs. Its names. Last name, first name, whatever one strikes your fancy at the end of the day. And Frank says, are we creating the Seattle Cougars? If you want to, you can create one for next week. We are going to draft a team based solely on how awesome we think their names are. It has nothing to do with skill. They could be one of the shittiest players that's ever stepped or skated in an ice hockey rink in the NHL, but because their name was awesome, they're on the team. Simple as that. That's going to be next week, and we hope you join us for that. Joseph says Seattle Tsunami. That's actually not a bad name.
I like that name, actually.
Yeah, Frank said sold. All right, so we thank you all for joining.
Ronaldo can be included?
Yes, Ronaldo can totally be included. It's Ronaldo, Carcillo, you name it. It doesn't matter. If you love the name, they're in at the end of the day. Nicole says her on all-time or recent only. All-time. All-time. So you can go back and do your research and find what names you strike your fancy, and you're like, yep, that's on my team. Simple as that. So there you go. All right, that is next week, guys. Hopefully you do your homework and you pick some really awesome kick-ass names, and we'll see what you guys come up with next week, like me, Pove, and Brian, from all of us here, as well as our producer, John Cena / a.k.a. sign guy Ryan Brodo, and Gordon Bombay.
Oh, it's Gordon Bombay.
Yep, and we thank you for joining us for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We will see you next week at 10 o'clock on Thursday right here on A2D Radio, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. as well as all the other audio platforms like Spotify and such like that you can catch us on. So, Larry, is he good enough? There you go. We thank you for joining us. From all of us here, we say good night. We are brought to you by Ambuck Services. If you need to get your gutters clean, they're the ones who can get the job done for you. If you want to give them a call, you can reach them at 856-879-5530. We thank you for joining us, everybody. Peace. Good night. Stay safe. Be healthy. We'll see you guys next week.
The show is over.